Hey everyone, welcome back to another fun and exciting tutorial. And I kind of skipped over Halloween now. So I'm just going straight into Christmas projects. Well, the reason I'm doing this is because I have a contest coming up in November. That's for our Christmas giveaway that I had promised everyone another giveaway. And that would, not a giveaway, it'll be a contest actually. And I thought I would start working on some Christmas stuff along with my change purse. I'm still working on the change purse, still doing the tutorial on it, and it probably will be in 4 videos, I'm pretty sure, because it's going to be long. But this one here, I want to show you guys how to make each and every piece of this and every step, because each one is a little wee bit different. So I don't want to make it very complicated and tell you just make the same component, because that's not how I did this. I had to change it up to make this smaller. This is the bracelet, and this is called Christmas Wish Set. And I changed up this, and you'll see as we go what I did different in here and here, and in here and in the necklace. The necklace, you can do whatever you want, but I will show you how to do it this way. Adding some big beads in here and adding some simple chain loops here on your eye pins and your head pins here. So that's the necklace, and it is so beautiful. I can't even tell you how beautiful this is. I just love how these tube beads, or bugle beads, whatever you want to call them, hang down. And the earrings, I'm going to show you how to do them a little bit different. Yes, I did it this way, but I mean, this is just a trial kind of thing. I didn't like the way the loop sat on these earrings this way, so I'm going to show you a much nicer way. I already made one, which I'll show you when we get to that. So this is going to be probably 4 videos. One video is going to be the earrings, one's going to be the necklace, one's going to be the bracelet, and one's going to be of the brooch. And you're welcome to change up all your colors. You do not have to make it these colors. These beads here, I happen to have bought these from Fire Mountain Gems, and I only got them in red. These big, huge, I don't know if they're 10 or 12 millimeter bicones, but they're huge. And they're Swarovskis. So they're gorgeous beads, and I got them for really cheap. Alright, so for the first project, for the first part of our video, I'm going to show you how to make the earrings, okay? And then I'll tell you what you need for that. So let me get this out of the way. For the earrings, and this is how I changed it up because I did not like the way those other ones hung. So I sewed in, let me come up a bit. I sewed in a 6 millimeter closed jump ring in here, and then attached my earring to another jump ring on the component. So this is the way I'm going to show you how to make these earrings. And for the earrings, just for one earring, as all I'm going to tell you, the supplies you're going to need is just for one component. Okay? You can see the size it is. It's a nice size, and I tried these earrings on, and they're really, really beautiful, and they hang nice. They dangle much better with the jump ring sewn into them, as opposed to sewing in a loop and then just attaching your earring to it. So for this, you're going to need 6 for one component only, one earring. You will need 6 4 millimeter Swarovski bicones, and in this one here I'm using this light sapphire-y, kind of like a denim blue. I'm going to be using 2 colors of Superduos, just as I had done in here. As you can see, I used red and white Superduos. Okay, so I'm going to be using 2 colors of Superduos, and in this case I'm using a blue, and it's like a lustery pearl finish. They're not quite white. They're almost like a snow white. You're going to need some 11-0 Toho seed beads. This is what I'm using. You don't have to use Toho. You can probably use anything you want. You can use Miyuki or Czech, I'm sure. And these color I'm using is called Transparent Rainbow Luster Sapphire. In this is really pretty blue here. You will need some 3mm bugle beads, and these are made by Miyuki, and they're a size 1. So I don't know how you guys would order these, because these I picked up at my Jangles, which is my bead store here. And they have all these sizes, but this is really a tiny bugle bead. It's either 3mm or size 1 in a Miyuki bugle bead. They're really easy to get. You can find these everywhere online. You're going to need an earring hook. You will need a 6mm closed jump ring and a 4mm open jump ring to attach your earring parts, because we're going to sew this closed jump ring in. And once you sew that in, you can't open these because they're soldered shut. I am using a size 10 beading needle, and I've been using Wildfire. I find this thread does not tangle as much as most threads that I've used, and it's in a 006 or 0.15mm, so basically 10 pound. That's what it says on here. So it's like a 10 pound fishing line. It's the same as my suffix. I've been ordering some stuff for my Christmas giveaway, which I'm quite excited to announce that I am also going to buy, or not buy, I already have it, a whole spool of 150 yards of my suffix ghost thread, which is this color thread that's going to be given away. So I want whoever wins that to try that thread out too. This is a fairly thick thread because it is 10 pound. It's 10 pound anything. Doesn't matter if it's 0.6, it's 10 pound, it's thick thread. But it's good thread. You can still make your multiple passes in here. As you can see, I've had no problem. This sealed up really nice, and I kind of found it much more sturdier thread. So for one earring, I would string on about 1 yard of your Wildfire or fireline or whatever it is you can use 10 pound of. Just be careful of your millimeters and your making sure it doesn't say it's really super thick, because then you won't get through all these beads. That's why I recommend using a Toho seed bead too, because they have fairly big holes in them, and they're easy to make several passes through them. So this first video will be your earring video, and then the next video I'm going to show you how to make the brooch, which is very exact same what you see here in this. You're going to make exactly the same. Only thing is you're not going to sew in your jump ring. So we'll get to that when we get to that project. So I'm going to go off camera here and thread a yard of fireline on, or Wildfire, and I'll be back. Okay, one thing I forgot to mention is you will need some super new glue, and the reason you're going to need some kind of crazy glue, fast drying glue, is because in this area, after we have completed this, it's really hard to weave in your tail and your working thread, so you end up finishing really close to where your tail is, and you end up tying, I end up tying off the tail thread and the working thread really nice and tight in here, and then I drop a dab of this super new glue on, and this stuff is incredibly good. And you can get this from Beadaholique. It's $4 and something cents for a tube, and I'm sure this will last you for a long time. So I've tied it off, cut it, dab it, the glue on, and just push it in between the two Superduos, and it's good to go. Now I forgot to mention that you need also 36 of one color of Superduo and 24 of another. So in this case I'm going to have 36 of the white pearl, because this is going to be my main color, and 24 of the blue, and that's what I'm going to be starting with. And that's all you need for one particular project. So let me get this camera good and organized here. I don't think I need to come. Sorry about my fingernail. My granddaughter painted her new nail polish on my fingernail. Alright, so for starters, the first thing you're going to do on your needle is you're going to have your two Superduos, two colors of your Superduos and your 11-0s. And you're going to pick up one of your blue Superduos or whatever color, or white. So we'll start with the white. And you're going to put an 11-0 seed bead between the two white ones. So you should have that. Then you're going to start no 11-0. Pick up another color and a seed bead between the two blues. So you're going to pick up two blues with a seed bead between them like that. Then you're going to go back to your white and you're going to do the same thing, and make sure with your Superduos that you go through them and check all the holes. And I did that on both of these colors. I made sure both holes were open before I started doing my video, because I didn't want to have to look through each one while I'm stringing it on. Okay, so now we're going to pick up two more blues with a 11-0 between them. So you want three sets of white and three sets of blue on your needle. We got two of each right now. So I'm going to continue picking up one Superduo, one 11-0, and one Superduo. And now go straight over to the blue. Alright, so this is what you should have on your needle. 1, 2, 3 groups of white, and 1, 2, 3 groups of blue. For some reason my camera doesn't want to move. There we go. And make sure you don't put make sure you don't put an 11-0 between your groups of two colors, just between the groups there. And then you're going to take them all down and bring them all down to the bottom, like we always do. And we're just going to run through all these beads again. So the way I like to do this is I wrap it around my middle finger here, grasp, oops, I'm missing one here. Grasp this between your two fingers like this, hold your middle finger up, wrap your thread around, and just put it between those two fingers as if you tucked it into a crevice there. And then you run your needle from the bottom all the way up through all your beads, because we're just going to join them in a circle, but do not tie them in a knot. Please don't tie any knots, especially when you're working with a very thick thread. That's the last thing you want to do, is start putting knots in it. It just makes it really hard to get through all your beads. So you're just going to join your two ends like this, and you can shorten your tail. It doesn't need to be too long, because again, like I said, you're going to tie your tail to your working thread at the very end of your project. So this is what you should have. And if you pull it nice and tight, you will have your groups of two looking like that. So now all you're going to do is to actually join the circle is go through the first Superduo, the first 11-0, and your second Superduo. So go through both white Superduos like that. Okay, and pull this through. Okay, now pull your circle nice and tight. And you are going to need your tail to, you are going to have this loosened up in the center a little bit, because you're going to be going through these beads, and you'll see what I mean. In the very end, when we're tying our knot off, this will pull this inner circle nice and tight, so when we're tying it off, as you're working with it, you're going to see it coming loose a little bit, but that's okay, don't panic. You can just keep tightening it up with the tail. But you really don't need to. Now, you're exiting out of your Superduo at the bottom, and you need to be exiting at the top. So just bring your needle up, and you'll be exiting towards the middle of your two white Superduos. okay? Or whatever color you're using, but I'm gonna go with the white and the blue and call it as it is. Now in here, we're gonna put 2 blue Superduos, so we're gonna pick up just 2 blue Superduos and nothing else. I'm just gonna go straight into the next Superduo into the top hole, because we're working on the top holes now of our Superduos. Now, as you can see, there's 2 blues inside of the 2 whites. Where the blue and the white are joined, you're going to pick up an 11-0, and you're going to go into the next Superduo, like that. Okay, now you're going to pick up 2 more white Superduos, and I've already checked all these, so all my holes are good. And between the 2 blue Superduos, now we're going to stick 2 white ones. So let's stick 2 white ones in like that. So it looks like this. Okay, and then between your 2 colors, your blue and your white, you're going to stick an 11-0 in there like that. Okay, now you're into the white, so let's put 2 blue Superduos in this groove here. And don't pull your work too tight. If you have this way too tight, it's going to buckle. So just adjust your tension accordingly to as you're going around here. You'll see how it starts to get tightened. And between your 2 colors, you're going to add an 11-0 like that. And now we're in the blue, so I'm going to add 2 white ones. And my glue fell over. So we're going to put 2 white ones in there, and that so far. Okay, and now between the blue and the white, you're just going to pick up an 11-0 and you're going to exit through there, the next Superduo. Then you're going to pick up 2 more blue ones and go through the next Superduo, because now we're putting 2 colors between 2 colors. Kind of looks kind of cute like this. And you're going to pick up an 11-0, and you're going to put 11-0 between the 2 colors, so the blue and the white one. That's when you know you need to add an 11-0 in there and not Superduos. Alright, in our last group of 2 blues, you're going to add 2 whites. Okay. So there's 2 white ones going in here. And you need to pick up one last 11-0 in this round. So now I've picked up my 11-0, and I'm going to exit through that white Superduo, and then we're going to step up into the blue ones and continue on that way. Okay, so now you're going to exit through the both bottoms, because we're here at the blue, we're exiting out of the white here. So just go through, if you can, through both of those 2 blue Superduos, but at the bottom only. And then we're going to work our way through the top. Okay, so we have that now. And I like to flip my work around as much as I can, because there's really no front or back yet, but there will be. Alright, so now we're exiting out of the bottom of our Superduo. Just take your needle and work it right up into the top one. So now you're between the 2 Superduos. If your round as you're working gets loose, just see this little loop that you make on the outside of your Superduo. Just pull it and tighten up your round. Hold these between your fingers and pull. And that will tighten up your round on you. Okay, so now we're just going to be working with the white Superduos. No blue ones in this particular round. So now, to get an understanding of what I'm doing, you're going to put 1 white in between these 2 that you have on. So in between the groups, you're going to put more. So pick up 1 Superduo, and you should be between your colors. If you're following me along, you should be between your 2 blue ones, or whatever color you put on. And you're just going to exit through the top hole of that Superduo, and you're going to place a white one in it like that. Okay. Now between the two groups, you can see there's a rather large gap there. You're going to pick up 3 Superduos. So I'm picking up 3 Superduos. And you're going to go through the top hole of the next group of 2 Superduos, placing 3 Superduos in there like that. And they're not going to sit in any perfect shape, way, or anything. They're just going to be loose in there, and that's okay. Pick up 1, and between the 2 white ones, we're going to stick 1. Okay? Then you're going to pick up 3 more Superduos, and you're going to put 3 more between your 2 groups, like that. Pick up 1, put 1 between the 2 colors, and then pick up 3 more, and put 3 between, and pick up 1 between the 2 colors. So you got a kind of like funky bead sitting there, but that's okay. It'll fix itself. And the tail's in my way. So I'm picking up 3 more and going. You can see there's a large gap here. You know that's where you got to add the 3 beads, and between the Superduos you're just going to add 1. So pick up 1 between your Superduos. Pick up 3 more. And 1 between. And your last 3 whites. So all your whites should be gone now. If you had 36 of them, all of them are gone. So now you're going to exit through your top hole of your same round that you were working on, and be very careful you watch your thread as you're pulling it through your loops or your holes or your beads, because it will snag around these and then you won't catch it till it's too late. Alright, so now you're going to step up into this new white bead that you put on, which would have been your very first Superduo that you put on. You're going to go into the bottom hole of it, and then you're going to go into the top hole of it. Now this is where your round is going to come loose, probably the first bead you put on here. Okay, as you can see, they're not sitting flat, which don't panic. They're not going to sit flat yet. Let me get a drink. Alright, now, so I'm exiting out of this all by itself, single Superduo, and that's where you should be exiting to, out of this single Superduo. Now, in your groups of 3 here, you can see where there's 3 Superduos we put on. Between each group, so there's 3 here, 3 here, we're going to stick a blue Superduo. So pick up 1 Superduo, exit through your first Superduo top hole in the first group of 3, and put that in there. And this is where it comes loose, so you just grab your thread, tighten that round up, pinch it between your fingers, and hold it there. Now, between your groups of 3, you're going to pick up 1 11-0 and exit through the top hole of your next bead, and then pick up another 11-0, exit through the next hole of your top bead. So this is what you should have. Now you're approaching this single bead all by itself that you put on the 1 bead all by its lonesome. Now you're going to pick up 1 blue Superduo, exit into that 1 single bead in the top. You're going to pick up another blue Superduo and exit into the next group of 3 beads into the first one of that group. So like so. So you've got 2 blue Superduos. I don't want to make this sound complicated because it's probably sounding complicated, and I'm sorry. I'm trying to make it as easy as possible. But you're going to do where your groups of 3 are. You're going to put a seed bead between the 2 middle beads here like this. Where you have the 1 bead all by itself, you're going to put a blue one on each side. So now we've approached our groups of 3. So let's pick up 1 blue, or 1 11-0, and How in the world did I get that plugged? That's how well I checked these. There we go. That one was easy to get out. Sometimes these ones are not easy to get out, but I do have a bead reamer that I can put through it. So you're going to go through the next hole by adding an 11/0 seed bead, like that. Pick up another 11/0 and go through the next one in your group of 3. Okay, so this is what you've got. Now you're approaching this one here that's all by itself. Okay, this is where you're going to add another super duo, and you're going to add it on each side of your component or your bead. And now you're going to exit into the first bead of that next group of 3. So it's really not that complicated. Okay, as you can see, my beadwork is coming loose in the center here, but you can just tighten it like this. But you don't have to tighten it yet, so don't worry about that. If it bothers you, tighten it. So we're in our groups of 3 now, exiting towards our work. Pick up an 11/0 and go into the next super duo top hole. We're working out of all the top holes on this round. And another 11/0 and exit through the top hole of this. So when we finish this round, this is going to kind of be cupped a little bit. Okay, as you can see, it's starting to flatten out nicely. Okay, but it's going to cup a little bit, and you want it to cup a little bit. If it cups, you know you're doing it right. Pick up another super duo because we're at our single one all by itself here, and we're going to put our new color on each side of it, like so. Alright, pick up 11/0, and now we're in our group of 3, so we're just adding 11/0s between them, like so. Okay, and now we're at our single one all by itself. We're just going to add super duo on each side of it. Pick up an 11/0 into the 3. We're picking up 11/0, and now we're exiting where it's getting really tight in here, but it's okay because this is where it's going to cup. Now you're going to pick up your last 2 blue super duos, and you're going to put one on each side of this one that's all by itself. Okay, and this is all I'm doing here, picking up 11/0 now, going into the next bead and picking up an 11/0, going into the next bead, and somehow I'm missing a super duo. I still need one. As you can see, it kind of cupped a little bit. See? It's a little wee bit cupping. That's okay. I need one more super duo. Let me check it. And it's a good one. Okay, because now you have approached. I must have just miscounted. So now you're going to pick up your last super duo, and you're going to exit through here, like so. Alright, we're not stepping up just yet. We want to finish our round out first. And there you go. So this is what your component should look like, and it's a little bit cupped in the middle here, which is fine, because wherever it's cupped, like this, flip your work so you're working with the dome part up. See? It's not cupped too much, but it's cupped enough, and you need it that way. So now we're going to work with our 4mm Bicones, and I'm going to be right back. Okay, so I'm back. I had to go put the bird on his perch because he wanted to play. He's being very quiet after yesterday. Today is actually the Canadian Thanksgiving holiday, which I'm home from work because I don't work on Thanksgiving. We had our dinner yesterday with our family, but yesterday was a horrible day of my life because the bird got away and flew away. And we spent an hour trying to capture him. He was on a rooftop, and the roofs where I live are so high. And we put a ladder up there, and we put the ladder up. He got startled and flew away again. This time he flew down the street, down a very busy street. He was flying above and landed in a tree in somebody's backyard. And a lady happened to say to us, while we were all running, there was 4 of us, you know, trying to capture the bird. 5 of us, actually. There was my husband, my son, his friend, and my brother trying to capture the bird. But when we put the ladder, we went and just took a ladder out of somebody's yard. That wasn't even our ladder, but it was an extension ladder. And we put it up against the unit, and the bird got startled and flew. So he flew and flew and flew. But anyway, the lady walking down the street said, "Are you guys looking for a parrot?" And we're like, yeah, because you could clearly see him flying in the sky with his bright red colors. And she said he landed in a tree, and she kind of pointed over in the direction that he was in. And sure enough, he was in that tree. We tried with every might to climb the tree, but there was no way. That tree was just unstable to climb. Nothing to hold on to on the bottom of it. And my son went into someone's backyard again and took their ladder. Well, didn't take it, he borrowed it. And tried to put it up against the tree. And as soon as Miku saw that, he flew away again. This time we lost sight of him again. We didn't know where he went or where he landed. But it ended up we were trying to go in the direction that he flew, which was towards our place. And we were calling him, and we could hear him going squawking really loud, because they have a real problem with being alone. And he didn't see anybody, so he was squawking. And it was his squawk that brought us towards him. And he ended up flying home and landing in my sister, which lives across the street from me, in the house beside her. He landed in their yard there. And thank God he landed on the grass, because we didn't have to go up a ladder or anything to capture him. But I was so devastated and so traumatized that I couldn't believe that we could not capture this bird. And it was his first time ever flying out in the free wild like that. So he was just having a heyday out there. But he came home, and that was the most important thing. That was a good end to my traumatized day, because I was busy cooking a turkey. It was in the oven while we were trying to capture this bird. And oh my God, just thinking about what I went through yesterday, it actually traumatized me for the whole entire rest of the day. I just wanted to get home from my sisters and give Miku cuddles and hugs, because I couldn't believe we almost lost him. And all I could think about is him being out there in the wild all by himself, or in the wild, but out there with no food, no warmth. And it's so cold here at nights now. It's like -2 at night, so he would have froze. Yesterday was a beautiful day here. It was super warm and sunny. I had to put the air conditioning on the car, so I don't know, I think it was just a blessing all around for the warm weather and the bird coming back home to us. When we got him in the house, my son right away clipped his wings. Then he clipped Tiki's wings, which is our conure, and another parrot we have, but he's just a little one. We clipped his wings because he's flying all over the house, and he flew outside, but he landed on my Halloween decorations. So I just walked up and brought him in the house. So I just don't want to go through this anymore. I don't want to lose any of these birds. They're very expensive birds, and we've invested a lot of money in him, both birds actually, and I can't imagine losing him. And Miku being still a baby parrot, he's only a year old, so he doesn't know much of anything, and he's very bonded to me. So he would be squawking out there. We would find him, because he'd be squawking. Anyway, that was an end to a tragic day. It was a good day, and I was quite happy to get Miku back. Okay, so now let's get back to here. I just want to tell you my story of what happened yesterday, because I did post that. You're exiting out of your last bead that we went in, so your super duo. You're going to go right into the bottom of the next super duo, which is the blue one. And now this row here that we're going to do is going to be a little time consuming because you have to go through all your beads on your top row again, okay? So you can actually push your dome out this way, you could push your dome out that way. It doesn't matter, whichever way you're comfortable in the direction of your thread. It doesn't matter where your tail is because you can always just drop that in the middle if you don't like where it is. Okay, so we're at the bottom of this blue Super Duo now. We want to be between our Super Duos on the top row here. So just exit your thread in the top hole, like so. Okay. So now I'm going to be working in this direction so my tail ends up being at the bottom. So first off, you're going to pick up one of your 4mm Swarovski crystals and you're going to go into your next Super Duo like this and park it right there like that. Okay. Now you're going to pick up 5 11/0s on your needle. So I'm picking up 5 and I'm exiting out of my thread this way. So now you're going to go down to this very middle 11/0 on your very first row, and this is why we don't tie knots on this first round and why our thread needs to be a little bit loose in here, because we're going to work in all these 11/0s. So you're just going to drop down and scoop that 11/0 and pull that towards the center like this. Okay, pick up 5 more of your 11/0s, exiting on this side. You're going to go through the Super Duo up here. We're only working out of these Super Duos now, and your 4mm Bicone. If you can do both in one pass, go for it, but don't pull too tight because you do not want your crystal to cut your thread. Only pull tight once you get your needle through the next Super Duo like this, and pull tight. So tighten this up like that. See? So you have this V shape of beads in there. Now the tricky part here is you're exiting out of this blue Super Duo. You're going to drop down and work across these 5 beads. So you're going to work into the Super Duo and into the 11/0. So this is the row that's going to take a bit of time because I'm pretty sure you're not going to get through too many beads in one pass. Okay, I'm trying to do at least 2. So I'm going through the 11/0 and the Super Duo. And you want to be exiting out of the white Super Duo only. Don't go into that blue one. Okay, so exit this way. So I'm exiting out of the white Super Duo. Alright. Now you're just going to bring your thread up into that top hole. So from this bottom Super Duo here, just go straight up into the top hole of your next group of 2 Super Duos, like that. And now you're going to put a 4mm crystal. Uh-oh, we have trouble here. Hi, Miku. Hello. 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 Say hello to people. Say hello. Say, I'm a bad bird. I tried to fly away. You're a bad bird. What are you doing up here? Hey? No. Biting. As you can see, I have him here. He's just being a little brat, wanting to touch my beads, wanting me to pet him. Oh, he's a good baby bird. Okay. No, no. Likes to bite my computer. He doesn't bite my fingers hard, but anybody else, he would bite them. No. Actually, this is the way we pick them up and hold them. Okay, you go over there on your perch and go play. Go away. He's not coming up. Alright, so you've picked up your 4mm crystal. He's just sitting on my shoulder watching. And exiting out of your Super Duo. So now you're going to pick up 5 11/0s. Okay. And you're going to drop down. Make sure you're working, you've already determined where your top is, so keep working out of the top. Drop down into the 11-0 in there in the center, and make sure you enter that 11-0 in the same direction that your thread's exiting on here. So pull this tight, okay, pick up 5 more, exit through the top Superduo, and you can probably go through your crystal at the same time, but like I said, don't pull that tight. And then exit through your Superduo, the next one, and then give it a tight pull. Okay? Now you're going to go down here into your, drop down into your top row of your White Superduo and your 11-0, and try to just get through 1 or 2 beads. I wouldn't attempt to go through any more, because then you're going to just be asking to break your bead. I know it's time consuming, but this is the only row that's very time consuming. And Miku, nobody wants to look at your tail feathers. Go eat your orange over there. Not on me. Miku, go. Go on. Okay, I'll be right back. I gotta do something with this bird. He's not giving up. Come here. Come here. Hang on. Hang on. Okay, stop. No.
This stuff.
Look at him. He's being a little pest. He wants to get tickled. He's laying on his back. He's just being a real sucky baby. Miku, you're being a pain in my butt today. Yes, you are. And nobody wants to see you. They want to see Beading. Yes. He just cuddles like a baby. He's laying on his back on my arm. He's being a sucky baby. Oh, what a cute baby bird. Okay, you ready to go back up on your perch? I'll be back. Okay, people, I'm very sorry about all the interruptions. Okay, so hopefully we have the bird contained now. I'm still going through this row of beads here, and I finished in these group of 3, and I'm going to step up now into the top hole of that Superduo on that round, like that. So I'm exiting here towards the middle of those 2, and I'm going to pick up a 4mm, and I'm going to drop it in the middle there, like so. And then I'm going to pick up 5 11-0s. And then I'm going to go down. My thread's exiting on this side, so you have to enter the bead on that same side. Okay, and going into that bead like so, and pulling that down. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pick up 5 more, and now exit through your Superduo and your 4mm like this. Don't pull it tight until you exit that Superduo. Then give it a tight pull, and then they all sit nice and snug in there. And then you're just going to continue this by going through these beads, drop down, and exit through your top hole of this next bead. So I'm going to go and finish this last group of 3, and when I get done I'll come back and show you what to do next. Okay, so I'm just getting ready to put my last group of 5 beads in this last group, or this last component. Pull it tight in there. Alright, so I'm just going through my Superduo, Bicone, and Superduo. So now I'm going to pull this tight like that. So this is what your component should look like with your 6 kind of like pointed points to your star, snowflake, whatever you want to call it. Now this is where you're going to put your 3mm bugle beads in here. So the first thing you're going to do is you're exiting out of your Superduo, I hope. If you're following along with me, you should be exiting. Just drop down into the 5 beads right below where you're exiting. because you want to get into that very center bead again, this one here, the 11-0, like this. Okay, this is the way you should be exiting. Now you're going to pick up 4 of your 3mm bugle beads on your needle. I have 4 of them. You're going to come up into the next, so I'm exiting here, just go on a diagonal and exit through these 3 beads here. So just these top 3 beads, your Superduo, your 4mm, and your Superduo. And you're probably not going to make this in one pass, that's for sure. And you're going to kind of sit those on top like this. So the 3 will be nice and straight and this one will be curved. And that's what you really want it to look like. Let's see if I bring this up a little more, if you can see what I'm doing. There we go. Okay, so now you're going to exit through your Superduo. Alright. Drop down into the 5 beads here. Now, you're going to kind of go across the bottom like this, and you're going to put your needle so it's going this way, and you're not going to see that thread going that way. You're going to go this way, and you're going to enter the bead on this side, so you're entering towards yourself like this, okay? Because you need to be going all the way around in this direction. So pick up 4 bugle beads. You're exiting out of your center 11-0. Come up and exit through here. Okay, so through the Superduo, the 4mm. Like so, and don't pull too roughly because you don't want anything cutting your thread. Okay, and now exit through the last Superduo in there, and then you can give it a tight pull like that. Now you're going to drop down into the 5 like so. And as I mentioned previously, you're going to come across and you're going to go into this bead this way. You will never see that thread over there that went across these bottom ones, okay? Pick up 4 bugle beads. 4. Come across, up, you're going on a diagonal, and enter into carefully placing those on top, and then enter into there, and now you can pull it nice and tight. So there we've got them on there. They almost look like pinwheels. I'll show you one more time and then I'll go finish the last 2 because our earring is almost done. So drop down into the 5 beads that are right below where you're exiting. Go across the top here and into that bead in this direction. And pull. Now pick up your 4 bugle beads and then exit up in the top here, going through those 3 beads like that and sitting those bugle beads on top, and now through your Superduo and then give it a pull, and there you go. Easy as peasy as could be. Alright, so I'm going to go finish these last 2, and then I'll be exiting up here, and then stay exiting out of just the 4mm. Do not go through your Superduos. Well, go through it here, but exit out of your 4mm. What do you call this? Swarovski. Back home. I'll be back. Show you. Okay, so I've finished putting on all my bugle beads, and now I'm getting ready to exit. After adding these last 4, I'm exiting through the Superduo and through the 4mm only. Okay, so I'm not going to be exiting through this Superduo here. Now you're going to get your jump ring, your closed jump ring if you have one. You're going to pick up 4 of your 11/0 seed beads and your jump ring, like that. Okay. Now you're just going to go around and around in this this 4mm, kind of separating them like this. So 2 on each side of your jump ring if you can do that. Now you're going to work your needle up through all your beads again, including the jump ring, because you're going to reinforce this lots. Okay, through your 4mm. Okay, so kind of give that a nice tight pull in there, keeping that 4mm or that jump ring centered. So go through all your beads again. Through your 4mm. Oops, I was probably off camera there and didn't even see it. Okay, so through these again. Through there. And you're going to do it as many times as your needle will be able to pass through your 4mm. So I'm going to go one more time, which my needle's starting to get pretty tight now in my 4mm. Okay, there we go. So as you can see, that's kind of centered. So I'm just going to move these over, and let this sit kind of centered between the group of 4 beads, like that. Alright, so now you're going to exit through the Superduo, like this. And we're going to tie off our thread now. So drop down into your 5 beads on the side there. And if you flip your work over, you'll kind of have an idea as to where your tail is exiting, because you want to be where your tail is. And if you followed me along, you're going to find that your tail is going to be very close where you're finishing your work. So all I have to do for this is go through this center bead again, like this, and I have to exit through the one hole of the Superduo. So I'm in this bottom row and exiting through this Superduo, and then I'll be right out where my tail thread is. So if I flip it around, you can see both my threads are exiting in the same spot. So you're going to remove your needle, and now you're going to tie some surgeon's knots, because it gets way too tight in here. Way too tight in here for you to start weaving. You're going to end up busting beads. So I found this to be the simplest thing to do. So surgeon knot is just wrapping your thread twice around the loop and pulling it tight. So this is where you can pull nice and tight, and sometimes because my thread's so short here, I'll use my pliers to pull that knot super tight. So now my center is all nice and closed. Okay, so flip it over, do that one more time, tie another surgeon's knot, so wrapping twice around, once and twice, and pull with your pliers. There. So, I don't know if you can see this, but my knot is between the 2 Superduos, like that. So all I'm going to do is hold my thread, get my glue, And I'm just going to drop one little drop of super new glue on that knot, like that. Okay, catching those threads, and then I'm going to snip it off right away with my scissors. And then I'm going to take the tip of my scissors and push that knot between those super duos and let the glue harden right there where my ends are. Like that. And it will eventually, if you tuck it in nicely, if you use the very tip of your scissors, you'll get glue on them, that's for sure. And just let that knot dry and it's good to go. And I just wipe my scissors off. Put the cap right away back on your super new glue because that stuff is incredible. And there's your earring all completed and made. Now we're just going to add our next jump ring and our earring hook. So get your pliers, second pair of pliers, and open your small 4mm jump ring. Give it a twist. Pick up your earring and make sure when you put your ear hook on, you put it that the front is on the front, so you put it in the right way so it hangs properly. And now you're going to close this jump ring up like so. Nice and tight. And there is your second earring, or my second earring, to my matching set of starting. Now the next tutorial, in my video 2, we're going to make the brooch pendant. All you're going to do for the brooch pendant is make another component identical to this one. So just follow this tutorial, make a second component, but do not add this top, this earring, this 4 beads here. You're just going to finish in your 4mm. You're going to finish in your 4mm here or wherever, and then you're going to work your way down and work through your beads and tie your knot in the back. And that's it. Cut your thread off. And that, your brooch pin is done. And then I'm going to come back and show you how to glue it on and how to finish off your brooch. So there's my 2 earrings completely done. Is this not just, this is so much like a snowflake. It's a very pretty pattern. It took me a while, and that's what I've been working on, was this. It took me a while to come up with this component because I was taking it apart and starting all over again constantly because nothing was working out, and then finally it just went the way I wanted it to. So okay, so go off camera, make yourself one more component identical to your earring, except do not put that loop in, and I'll come back and show you the second video of your brooch pin, and I'll see you back here in a sec.